missed our music on Eddie's show. I like ours better.
Welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermsen, and I am your host. And we are here today with a little different setting, but we are live on Facebook as well as YouTube today. So a little bit of a test going on here.
Miracles happen.
Miracles do happen. So Nicole, if Nicole Harris is listening to us, we want to let her know that we just devised a little something here. She'll be back with us next week. Hopefully next week or the following week. We'll see what we can do as far as getting her rescheduled.
Fascinating lady.
We know there's always a story, right? And this is all about the story. And the story is that sometimes technology gets in the way. But we decided that we would give it a shot and see if we could do something a little bit different. And hopefully everything sounds okay and everything looks okay. I don't like being quite this close, but you know, it is what it is.
Say, blow her up. Blow her up bigger.
My engineer's over here. He's trying to, change
it's a
things.
Camera.
Yeah. Oh no. So there he is trying to fix this up. Yeah, it's all right. It's never all right. Anybody who knows me knows I don't like it. So it's okay though. We deal with these things. So this is What's the Story. We are heard every Tuesday from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And next to me here is my co-host, Ed Noel.
Hey, Jan.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone.
Yes, we were honored yesterday to be interviewed by Eddie Floyd on his America Matters show.
It
That
was
wonderful.
so kind and so nice being a guest. I've never been on a guest on a show before, I don't believe.
You're on mine.
I was one other time.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do a show than be a guest on a show because we
It is.
plan what we're talking about.
Not only that, but you kind of have a rhythm, right? You kind of know where you're going to be, what you're going to do, and so very interesting, very interesting. So yeah, so I thank you, Shanimal, for walking me through here, and we're walking through doing it a little bit differently, but yeah, this is kind of cool.
It's like a moon landing.
I don't know about that. How is it like a moon landing?
So it was successful.
Oh, okay, I'll go with that. So I want to mention again, Nicole Harris was scheduled to be on today. She was here. We had some technical difficulties. We did end up resolving them in a kind of a unique way. And, but she has already left the building. So on that note, we're going to reschedule her. And so hopefully you will tune in the next time around and hear what she has to say. Very interesting lady. You meet people and you know them in a certain way. And then you say, hey, send me your bio. Send me something to tell me a little bit about you. And wow, what you learn, right? I mean, it was interesting. It was very different than what I would have expected. I knew she was in real estate. There were certain things I knew about her. She's the president of the Reno Republican Women's Club. So, you kind of get a picture. And then you get a bio. And then you get a different picture.
No doubt about it, right? People are more fascinating than we think.
They are. So that's What's the Story is all about. We want to know your story. We love businesses, and we know that businesses, they don't just start up. And I mean, sometimes there's a business. My sister and I were talking about this today. Sometimes you have a business and you just kind of do the business and, you come in every day, do your thing, make your money and go home. But most of the time, there's a background to that business. There's a story behind that, why you're doing what you're doing.
Well, if you got clients at all, right? Somebody got them.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you're, like you said, in that business where you just work, people are obviously walking in the door. Something brought them there.
Right. Yep. So we like to know your background. We like to know all about you. And that's what we're going to do when we have Nicole on. Nicole Harris, president of the Reno Women, blah, blah, blah. Easy for me to say. Reno Republican Women of Reno. I'll get it right, I promise. It's RWR. So I keep seeing that R and trying to put the wrong word in front of it, so.
I'm
gonna
staying
call that-
away. I'm
gonna
staying
call it a
away
senior
from it.
moment. I'm calling it a senior
I'm
moment.
staying away from it.
And not my stupidity, it's a senior moment. Come on. All right, so Ed, I know you're all into
So many-
hiking.
so
Well,
many
no, you're
things.
into hiking and
Yeah.
doing all those
Yeah.
things. So I saw this thing from the Team Red, White, and Blue, which is Team RWB. All these letters, too many letters.
Acronyms,
I know,
right?
they're terrible. So this is called Mission Training 9/11 Stair Climb. And it's an event that you do virtually through this group, right? But what it is you're going to be climbing some stairs, right? This is like a whole month all the way through to 9/11. And it says, let's kick off things by testing our stair climbing endurance starting point. So you use the workout that they give you to kind of find out, where do you fit in the,
So is this
stamina.
like the fitness ring that shows up every morning that says, you should walk a few more steps?
Something like that. But what you're going to end up doing after you do your little warm up, you're going to complete 20 minutes of stair climbing at a steady pace with no weight added, and alternate between a minute of climbing and a minute of rest. Remember when I did this quite a few years ago?
I remember you.
And it's a day by day, they have different exercises that they have you do. And it's to help you with your fitness, but it's also there's a mission in mind, right? This is for 9/11. The other one was a 1776. So that was going through to July 4th. So I just recommend you go to, or just search Team Red, White, and Blue and check that out. And maybe we're going to go on a break here. Maybe after the break, I'll be able to pull up and stream for you the page that they have this on so that you can see it for yourself. That would be kind of cool, don't you think? This is good practice for me, Shanimal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. All right, so we're going to take a break here, and then we will be back with more of What's the Story. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I'm your host. And this is my co-host. And Noel, he's trying to be the director now. He's going to produce the show and tell me, don't forget to unmute.
I was doing hand talking. I'm not licensed to do that sign language, but I was using it.
It's okay. It's okay. We had someone telling us VJ, I'm going to probably massacre the name, Gervais, that wanted us to unmute. So we are now unmuted. We were on commercial, so when we're on commercial, we do mute. And you really don't
That's
want to hear
only
what we're
when
saying.
people want to listen, I think. Actually, the most
I know.
interesting discussions are at break.
Well, you remember when we had a different engineer, he would always let us be on all the way through. And it was kind of entertaining, but we had to be really careful.
Those were in my young and more colorful days. Right? I was new with radio and I was a little more free speaker.
Well, speaking of that, we have to say that this is your 5-year anniversary on What's the Story.
That's just
So,
ridiculously
I know,
crazy. It
I
doesn't
know.
seem like it's been
It's
that
awesome.
long at all, but
It's awesome.
it's gone by so quick, just like the shows, right? So
Yeah.
entertaining. I have such a great time. I hope that my joy goes out over the airwaves.
Exactly. Very true. So I want to now, before the break, we were talking about Team RWB, and I told you I'd try and, I want everyone to know I'm kind of new at doing the actual sharing screens, doing all the stuff. So bear with me as I do this, but I think I've got the correct layout. There you go. And so in a second, you're going to see it on your screen here.
Wow, who
There we go. You've got the screen for the Team RWB mission training 9/11 stair climb. Let's kick it off by testing your stair climbing endurance. There's the starting point. And so that gives you all the different things that you're going to need to do. And if my screen will allow me to, no, not yet. Hang on a second. I'm going to scroll. I think.
Well, I
just
think
knocked it out.
everyone, as I look out over society, it would appear to me that we all need to find something to do, right?
Well,
Something that we, whether it be a cause or, I think cause, like the folks that pay you to lose weight,
yeah.
right? That's a good deal.
Yeah.
It works.
It's true. Yeah. So this tells you what your workout is. There are different challenges. If you look on the left there, you'll see under events that's highlighted. It says challenges. So you can do different challenges. I was telling Ed before the break that was one of the things I did, the 1776 challenge. It was a few years ago. I'm not sure I could have done it now.
I remember you talking with Doug and I about it.
Yeah, I tried to get you guys to do it too. So anyway, that is the Team RWB. Hopefully you will give it a shot. And I need to find some stairs today that I can go up at least 20 stairs. I thought about going over to Renown. They have stairways in there. Oh, we could do
There's
it here.
stairs,
Yeah.
the back
Yeah,
bathroom
we could do it
has
there.
stairs down there.
Yeah, I don't want to be quite so public. I kind of prefer the Renown area where you're kind of in the hallway there. You won't see me huffing and
You
puffing.
could
as
go
I
to
up
like
and down
a
the
parking
stairs.
garage, right? Like the Calneva parking
Yeah,
garage.
exactly. Yeah. So anyway, but I do recommend it. I recommend Team RWB. I've joined, and like I say, anybody can join it. And just see what appeals to you. Many of them are virtual. Some of them are in person. I'm not sure that Reno has anything right now, but they're all over the country. So check it out for yourself. All right. So that's my recommendation for physical fitness today.
Wow.
How about that?
Well, I was going to say, we don't always have a physical fitness tip.
We don't. But since our guest was not able to stay because of us, then I had to find something interesting to talk about. So I thought that would be a good thing. And the other thing that I want to talk about is the fact that Ed and I went to a See You at the Library, a Kirk Cameron event that was on August 5th. And actually, the Rue Press sponsored that along with wakeupwashoecounty.org and had a great time.
At the Butter Library.
At the Butter, that's right. That's what you call it. We have a library here in Reno, Nevada that is mustard colored is what I would call it. You
Well,
call it
it's
the
right-
Butter Library.
It's right near the Little League fields where I coached when my son was young, and we always just called it the Butter
The
Library.
Butter Library. Wow. I've never
They might have
heard that
freshened it
before.
up. Might
It
have
is
freshened
beautiful
it up.
inside though, is it not?
It is. No,
a
it's
really nice library.
and highly functional.
Very. They have Zoom rooms, they have all sorts of things. I thought maybe I could see, you've created a monster here because I thought that I could find the South Valley's library and be able to show you guys. I have a picture here, but it's really not the best. It's small and in the corner, but I'm gonna share it with you anyway. If you look to the right there at the bottom of the screen, there is
There it
the
is.
South Valley's library. So summer events and resources.
See, that's butter.
I don't know that I would call it butter, but okay. If you want to call it butter, you may do that. Anyway, we were there this weekend on Saturday, little hour event with children, and
Home-baked cookies.
Home-baked cookies. They were awesome too. And the librarians were wonderful as well. They, one of the things about this event, it's families across the 46 states held 304 children's story hours in local libraries. And I know that from Kirk Cameron's account that there were some problems with some of the libraries blocking them, not wanting them to hold the event. But I want you to know that the librarians at the South Valley Libraries, they were just awesome.
Yeah,
They
there
were
was
awesome.
no resistance.
We had a limit on the room of 64. And so we said, well, okay, so we took, we had people RSVP so that we wouldn't go over the maximum. And as it turns out, the librarian was kind enough, without my knowledge, to open up the second room, which I thought had been booked. So apparently either they didn't show up or they left early. And so they opened up the second room. We had a capacity of over 106, and we had 78 people that ultimately attended that event. So
yeah, it was good.
Really
it was
a
nice.
success. And we didn't have a lot of media exposure ahead of time. So this was truly our community coming together and saying, hey, everybody, come on out and, join us. And VJ says, commercial breaks are the best. LOL, secret spill. Absolutely. They certainly do. So, but yeah, we're not going to share them with you.
I was going to say, we call that free speech. Free speech.
Yeah, we're not sharing that. We're not sharing. So, and as a result of this success, LaRue Press is going to be hosting some other events throughout the year. The next one will be, I don't think we're going to do anything in August. Well, actually, September we're going to have two, because we're going to probably do the Constitution Day if we can book a room. And we'll also be doing something for LaRue, probably at LaRue, because it is our 20-plus year anniversary. 17 years as LRP Printing and 23 years as LaRue Press.
Nice.
So added together, you got 40, so it's 2020.
Are Winnie
Right?
the Pooh and Eeyore showing up?
I don't know. We could ask them.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was the other thing we didn't talk about at this particular event. Two of the ladies dressed up as Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore, Sandy Tibbet and Stacy Pyro. I never asked her how to pronounce her name. She'll kind of get me for that later. But they put on their costumes and they were out there and entertaining the kids, and it was great.
Not only did they have costumes, they have face paint.
Oh, yeah.
They were way into it, and it mattered.
Well, not only that, we had balloons. Everybody came out. It was just phenomenal.
It was.
For an hour event, they came in, they decorated that. There were streamers on the doors.
People were polite, left all the cookies to me.
Oh, well.
Right? No, but it was a wonderful event.
Yeah, the moms went and made all the cookies, and so it was great.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed it. So yeah, we'll do it again. We'll definitely do it again. It was lots of fun. So, and my grandkids showed up as well, so that was really fun. And my kids. I should mention my children. Once you have grandchildren, the kids kind of go in the background.
So did you ask them if they had a good time? Did you self-analyze?
I did not.
I think
Actually, my older daughter did say that she thought it was a successful event.
Oh. Because I was hanging with them and they seemed like they were having fun.
Yeah, my younger daughter was the one who read. She was very surprised when she got there. Just give you a little, what's the story? She showed up and thought that she was going to have just a few kids, just like, circled here in the corner of the library that she was going to read to. And I said, oh, no, we had chairs set up, all these 70 some odd
You
people.
needed a microphone.
Yeah, we did. It was a little too quiet, but
I mean, it was like a.
yeah. Well, it's
Good
first
crowd.
time out.
Yep.
We didn't know what we were in for, and we didn't know if we were even going to have people that would arrive. And so, kudos to wakeupwashoecounty.org. She did an awesome job of sending the messages out to everybody. We did as well, but our audience isn't as young as theirs. So I think that
Well, right.
I think they did an awesome job.
Right.
very
It's time for me to shut up.
It's okay.
This is stuff to talk about on break.
That's right. And we're getting ready to do that right now. That was a great segue. We are going to take a quick break and we will be back with more from What's the Story? And yes, we're going to mute.
forget on occasion, right?
Yeah, got it. Can't be muted. Even if I was.
So,
Come on.
right, I check, but right, so when you're on Zoom or you're on a meeting thing, right, the first thing I do is make sure the video is off, right? Unless it's a
Yes.
one-on-one,
Yes,
right? If it's a
it's
group
true.
thing.
It's
And then
true.
the second thing I do is to make sure it's muted, right?
Yep.
I don't want to be that commercial where they go, oh, mute button's broke.
But have you ever been in a Zoom meeting and you're the only one who can't make your microphone work? I have been that person. It's terrible. It's like, who's muting me? And no matter what I do, I can't get the microphone to work. So, it makes you wonder.
I've not ever had a
Where's
huge
that little gremlin in the
a
background?
huge urge to talk on a large Zoom
Well,
meeting.
but sometimes you're required to talk.
Did you read or hear recently that Zoom is requiring their staff to work in office now?
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
What I heard
Zoom
is
is requiring their in
no,
office.
you know what I heard? Let me go to my thing here, my Telegram, because I heard that Zoom, and I'm going to tell you in a second.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, if
see.
it's on Telegram and recent, it's
This is
probably
from
more
a
up to date than my
Yeah, this is
information.
from a friend of mine. She sent it over, and it says, bear with me, I'm scrolling up. Oh, my goodness. There's lots of interesting things this week, actually.
Well, it's
Um,
because Congress is adjourned and we don't have their talking heads in front of us.
Is that what it is? Well, I've heard that Zoom is requiring you to have some sort of chat that it can analyze your speech or something.
Huh?
So it probably is a good time to not be on Zoom, would be my thought, because if they're grabbing your voice and grabbing all that, I think, for me anyway, I'm going to kind of pass on that for a little while and let them get through that and figure it out before I go back on. Here it is. Zoom Terms of Service now requires users to allow AI to train on all your data unconditionally and irrevocably with no opt-out, including audio, facial recognition, and private conversations. So this is from forwarded from Rise of the Global South, and he says, "Bye-bye Zoom." So there you go.
I was never really a big fan.
Well, I use it for business. When I meet with authors, sometimes they're out of town, so
We
that's
have
a nice
company
way to do
meetings,
that.
right? I mean, it allows you to tie branches together and things. It does have some purpose, but I prefer a healthy handshake.
Yeah, well, it's always nice, but
Yeah.
just not always possible. I mean, it is bad, the days of travel and being able to go to other cities and stuff to meet people for business, those are kind of gone, right?
It is kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of not good. So I have something else that I'm going to share with you. Hang on a second, because there we go. Not this site can't be reached, not that one. Let's try it again. Yeah, I guess it doesn't want to let me do it. What can I tell you? All right, we'll just come back to us. All right, I'll try and find it. I was gonna do a little bit of self-promotion.
You were going to get fancy.
I was gonna do some self-promotion.
I saw that. That was a nice picture of the bookstore.
Yeah, it is a good picture of the bookstore.
I
just
snagged my book of the
don't
day
understand why it won't let me.
from
Okay.
previous browsing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to want to go to this site can't be reached and not to my proper.
That's kind of like pulling something up on MapQuest and
Yeah.
you can't get there.
I guess that's.
So like you can't get there from here.
I know. I guess this is where I have to get a little bit better at this than what I am. But
Well, it's the pressure of the crowd.
is that
right?
what it is?
Live radio, right? The pressure.
Oh, but I'm a stickler about getting it right.
I love.
That's our word of the day.
So I knew that word. I don't know the last couple of
It's an
words
easy
you
word.
used. I haven't
Yeah.
really known, but stickler.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from exactly, but
As far as why I chose it?
No,
Oh.
like, why being a
Oh,
stickler,
what the
like,
origin.
so
of
like,
it.
yeah, like making
Yeah.
a tower out of popsicle sticks makes you a stickler for buildings.
No.
Well, that's why I'm just trying to figure out where the stick comes from, if you're a stickler.
I can't answer that question, but I can just say that the official definition, someone who believes in closely following rules or in maintaining a high standard of behavior.
So I like that high standard of behavior, but I'm a rule breaker, I guess. I'm not much of a stickler for rules.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not either, truthfully. But, sometimes you gotta have them, right?
Stickler.
Stickler's
right?
a good word.
Nicole's probably a stickler.
Oh, I bet yep. Oh, look at Shanimal. That's
Wow.
very good.
I was doing, what year was that? What year was that?
I couldn't.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I think too. Stickler's older than that, but I
Huh. An umpire.
the bossy nature. I was going to say I know some folks that could be sticklers in that arena,
That's true.
right? I mean, I'm not much of a judger.
No,
Not really.
not even with your kids.
So for sure, my kids.
Oh,
But I mean, people in general, I've been, I don't know, never felt like people ever got my whole picture. So I try to be balanced.
Yeah, so their example here is the mother is a stickler for tradition. And my example to you was Trump is a stickler for fighting back, right? Because he always says he doesn't punch, but he always punches back. So he's a stickler for punching back, right?
So Trump's a stickler for a lot of things, isn't he? He's a magnet.
I don't know if he is.
He's a
I think
magnet of many things. It's fascinating how much energy he draws.
it is.
I mean, it's incredible.
What's really incredible is to watch as every time an indictment comes out, his numbers go up instead of down.
So did you see the
Which
latest
is-
thing
but then-
he's done though, right?
But can I just say something about that? Do we really believe that? I mean, they used to, and I don't mean to put anybody into a downer, but we used to say the polls don't count. And now we see this, and do we believe that that's really happening?
So
or is
you
that
have to-
intended to
Yeah.
happen?
I don't know, right?
See, I mean, you start to question everything now.
But I do know the government, right, has overreached, right? Adam Schiff, that lying loser, right? Russia was a hoax. He flat out lied. And so to me, that fuzzes up all of it. To me, it's political. And, we can say the Hunter Biden thing is too, but only by omission, right? That was another thing that was fake news or wasn't real news.
Yeah.
And so the history of examination of situations in the recent past, and certainly involving President Trump, have proven that they'll lie, cheat, do anything. And so that's why folks are where they are. I think with President Trump is they've done everything possible, lie, cheat, and steal, so that they think the end is what the left is trying to do, hurt him. I personally think he's just made enemies over the years, and they're all coming home to roost.
But it's more than the left, because you have the right that's attacking him as well. And you have the right that refuses to band together and decide. Of course, now you have the left doing the same thing with Biden and Kennedy's in there, and
both extremes in the party. Both extremes in the party are flexing their muscles.
They are.
When they don't have any muscle behind it, right? I mean, they're talking a lot, and obviously the primaries are coming up. but it's going to be that 75% in the middle.
No, speaking of the primaries, we'll have to do this after the break. We have the presidential preference primary, which I was not familiar with until very recently, that we're going to be having here in Nevada.
Oh, that ranked voting?
No, that's not ranked choice voting. This is a presidential preference primary. We will talk about that when we come back from our break because it's quite interesting. And I had a conversation with someone that we were very confused, but we did get clarification. So I think we're on now, and we'll share that with you after the break. I think we're ready to do that, and maybe I can keep my mic off this time. All right, and maybe not, and we'll just have to be careful of what we say, huh? All right, everybody, we'll be right back. This is What's the Story? Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I'm your host here with Ed Noel today.
And our volume is on.
Our volume and our mutes are unmuted. Everybody's going to be really tired of us with talking about this.
So likely. Hey, what up with LA? I was thinking about about CC and our song. How, like I was saying, I missed it the other day. Is anyone working there? They all on strike. They're all. I mean, California seems to me like has more folks on strike than any place anywhere.
A lot of people on strike. Lots of those writers, and it makes you wonder. What do those folks do in the interim? I mean, I've known people being on strike, and I've known people who've crossed picket lines. I don't know. I just kind of wonder what's the end goal, and do they really gain by that? Because now you're off work for a period of time, and if you're not getting any income, I mean, I'm imagining they're getting no income. So now, for all this money that you just lost, with that raise or whatever it is that you're looking for, does that really make up for it and then some? Or, I mean, I always like to do that.
It seems to me like they almost always lose unless they're going to be there 25 years or
That's
something.
What I mean. That's what I mean.
And to me, I had a discussion with my son on this, but so people at lower level jobs who AI can write stuff for them are losing their jobs. We think it's a little ridiculous that AI's.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to talk about that in the next
because
segment,
they're losing jobs. If you're not that creative, you probably shouldn't lose your job.
I did a chat GTP, is that what it's
What? I don't know. You did it.
I did a little experiment this weekend. I was doing some research, and I have avoided using this chat thing, but somehow I ended up in a thing, and it said, "Oh, what do you want to know?" So I said, "Okay, I'll ask," right? Well, the answers that I got to my question, which had to do with counting votes, because I was doing research, and the answers that I got were interesting, I guess I would say. But the good thing about it that I didn't know is that they do give you the reference. It's sort of like reading a book, and then you
give a footnote?
They do. They give you a footnote.
Nice.
So you know what the source of the information is. Then I read that particular bot that I was using only goes back to 2021. Well, that's not going to help me any.
Well, right.
I'm looking for how did they count votes in the 1900s? Yeah, well, they're not.
You're going to have to find a different bot.
Yeah, exactly.
Different acronym.
Yeah, different acronym. So I guess, but there was a good lesson for me because I was avoiding it because I thought, man, I don't want to just take whatever. At least when you search, you know what the source of your information is. But it's basically doing the same thing. And it is shortcutting it for you because you're getting 3 or 4 different sources. It's summarizing.
But so it's choosing for you.
It is choosing. Yes, you're right. But you know what the choices are. You know who those authorities are. And you can always go out and search for others.
Now, and it's another decision people don't have to make.
Right. But the likelihood is most people are going to just go with the most,
right.
Whatever's
people seem to go.
Yeah.
Go with whatever.
Go with the flow. Yeah. Whatever is most appropriate at that moment in time. That's where I'm heading. Not me, but a lot of people.
Yep.
A lot of folks.
It's like the wind blowing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Go with the wind.
But anyway, that's fascinating. But I do think that like I'm not talking about original series or original books, but stuff that's been written or things that I think it's interesting too. If someone's drawn, say, art for a comic, it's there. If the bot draws it again, you did it, right? I mean, it's still your work, I believe.
Yeah, but if they're taking that work and doing whatever they want with it out there, that's not good.
So if they're giving you a footnote, best I know, so flattery is the biggest compliment.
It, but what they're talking about on that Zoom terms of service is they're basically training their bot with your image, your everything, your voice, your whatever knowledge you have. I just am not.
Well, they wouldn't need a whole bunch of like RAM for me, right? I mean, right? So right when you go on Facebook or LinkedIn and people have their little characters, do you ever?
Are you talking about the avatars?
Yeah. various avatars, or
I use an avatar sometimes on my phone.
I've
That one
seen
that
it.
looks a lot
I've seen
like
it, but I've never really dug in and asked. I'm like, hey, where'd you get your avatar?
What you got, Shannon?
And it showed modern stuff. When Texas Red went into town and tours, they showed a guy on bicycle.
Oh my!
With a big gun, but I think it had one horse and one actual cowboy.
Well, it was a very immature AI. It hadn't learned much at that point. What can you say?
It's like the rest of us.
Well, no, I think we have a little more wisdom than the AI. Come on, even you, Ed.
We
even
should have. We should
I
have.
think you have
We
more
just
wisdom
always
than you give
fail to
yourself credit.
show it.
Well,
You
you know, I want to see what I got here on my list. Oh, yeah. So going back to our team RWB.
Yep.
Elevator or stairs? If you're going somewhere, elevator or stairs?
So I always do stairs.
Shanimal, elevator or stairs? Elevator.
But
stairs.
I've never lived in a
Stairs,
city
because
with like
stairs.
anything, like here in Reno, right? Is there a building over like
So
10
I'm going to be
stories?
brutally honest. I do stairs if I'm up for it, depending on what the location is and how much I'm carrying. I will do elevator, but if it's not too much, I will do stairs. I always do stairs down.
It's the
Up is
funniest thing.
Up, I'm going to say it's selective. I can't be dishonest about that. I'm a stickler for that. How's that?
So my dad, when I was young, is like, don't pass a water fountain without drinking out of it. Right?
What was
So
that?
I don't know if he wanted me to be a disease carrier. No, it was about hydration, right? I played
Oh,
football.
I
We didn't
see.
even have water
Okay.
bottles, right? We drank out of the orange
I
container.
gotcha.
It was
Yeah.
about hydration. And there were more water fountains, actually, like phone booths.
Right. Yeah, I know. None exist anymore. I
Did
mean,
you
there's
see at
some-
the library, speaking of which, they had like a Zoom booth? It's the
Yes.
same size as a
I
phone
meant to
booth. It's
tell
like
you,
another
yeah,
use for a phone booth.
Yes, that's how they've recouped on their phone booths, right?
Yeah, put it
Yeah.
back out
They
there.
have Zoom rooms in almost all the libraries now. I thought that was kind of cool, actually. I thought maybe LaRue should create some Zoom rooms.
Well, right,
What do
you'd
you
have
think?
the curtain, it'd be like
Yeah.
dressing rooms, but they'd
Yeah,
be Zoom
It'd be
rooms.
all right. We could do that. They wouldn't be as high end as the library, but we could do some Zoom rooms.
Yeah, they'd
Just
have
put
to have
a little
restrictions.
It's
Right?
true.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
That's the male mind.
Well, we were talking about President Trump earlier in that whole speech.
Oh my goodness. So
Right.
we went from Chat GPT to AI or to Zoom rooms.
So because we went from AI to
Scary.
me, right? That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
The
true.
real artificial.
That's true. Okay, so we talked about the chat thing. I was going to talk about that in the next segment, but we can do that now.
So
We're
yeah,
gonna-
I've avoided AI kind of so
Okay.
far. I haven't had to. I probably read all kinds of things and been
Yeah, I don't
prompted.
do-
But in banking, right, for the most part, we're solving. I mean, I guess it can handle information, presentations, right, information to the
Right.
public. But when you can't really do your work.
Well, from a publishing standpoint, now, what do we expect? Does everybody write their book with AI? Do we care if they write it with AI? How important is that to a publisher? Do you want the talent or do you just want the product?
So
That's the
they don't they
question.
want something that sells regardless, right? So like famous people write books all the time that sell, maybe not.
All those ghostwriters. are
Not on
losing
their nom de
jobs.
plume, but on their who they are.
Right, but the ghostwriters are losing their jobs, right?
Well,
Because
best I
because
know,
those-
AI is the definition of
it
ghostwriter.
is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So those writers that are on strike, that's part of the reason they're on strike. They're
But-
losing their jobs.
But why are they? I mean,
I'm not
I'm
siding
just
with
gonna
them.
say,
I'm
why
just
are they
saying,
any more special than this office administrator at any company who's gonna lose their job just the same?
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just suggesting that from a publisher standpoint, what is important? And for me, it's the combination. It's also the talent from that author so that they can actually go out there and market their work and sell it. Because if you're not doing the guy that's got, 100 million followers, you've got to have somebody who can get out there and do something on their own. So on that note, I hear our music, which means we have to take a break now. This is the hard break. We'll be back after the news, so hang in there. We're going to go away and then come back.
So, Mute.
Welcome back. This is the second hour of What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermsen. I'm your host, and I'm here with Ed Noel.
Howdy, hi.
How you doing today, Ed? We had a great first hour.
Wow. Seemed like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was really pretty fast. And oftentimes when you're expecting a guest and you don't have one, it can be
It's like time
different.
travel.
But we really had a lot of topics to talk about anyway. So again, if you were watching for Nicole Harris, we had some technical difficulties at the beginning of the last hour, and so she's going to come back with us at another time, probably next week, but maybe the following. So, and next week we have a Border Patrol agent that is going to be with us.
Fascinating.
That is going to be great.
I'm really curious to get
Yep.
their ideas.
Yep, with his book, I believe I didn't prepare properly, but I
We-
believe it was called Insider.
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
we look and try to solve the biggest challenges of our time and solve them right and move on to the next one.
Yep.
Right? I mean, best I know, it seems like there's a flare up and they throw some money at it to buy some time for a year, and then we don't solve things to the core and long term.
Yep. His book is called Invaded, The Intentional Destruction of the American Immigration System. He's been all over as far as doing interviews with so many different places, but if you have not heard him speak, you need to listen next week. He'll be on I believe we have him on the first hour. I can't remember, shame on me.
Awesome.
I'd have to look at the schedule. His name is J.J. Carroll. His book is Invaded, The Intentional Destruction of the American Immigration System, and he will be on What's the Story next week. So we're looking forward to that. That will be great. And shame on me. Here, I'm gonna, oops. Well, I will get better at this, everybody. I promise you. Let's see if I can grab that. That's not the right one. Let me stop
Sticky
sharing
mouses.
that. I know. Well, it's getting to know which button to push and when, right? That's what this is all about. All right, well, we'll share it later. Before the end of the show, I'll pop his book up there for you so you can see what it is, and I encourage you to listen next week. I think it's going to be great. We want to talk about a little bit about finance. Do you have anything for us today, or did you grab anything? Or?
I'm a stickler.
Oh, yes, you are.
So finance, I think we're at a fascinating place, folks, because right up until this point in time, inflation's been coming down, unemployment, right? There's been jobs. They talk about the soft landing versus crushing us. Best I can tell, the core gas is back up. I think next month it's going to show that inflation, this is my opinion, the numbers aren't going to go down. They're going to be higher because gas is up. Gas is a core component, which is volatile. But I think that they're going to keep raising rates, and they're going to go scenario by scenario until they get inflation to 2%. And I think it's more aggressive than most folks will want.
That's interesting.
I mean, I just don't know how they get down there without choking us off.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, unless they get close and go, okay, we'll let it ride. But I really, I think there's a challenge with that. And also in the mortgage business, right? Folks waiting, doing whatever, I'd love to see folks have a plan, talk to me, talk to some other mortgage advisor, get a plan, because now you can be executing, right? So a situation presents itself and you can perform. Can't buy a house by accident. But if things start to be a soft landing, it'll just be meeting by beating. Well, will rates go down or not? Unless we get crushed where the economy stalls, then they'll go down real fast. But if that doesn't happen, which it's unlikely,
True.
right, we got that in between, they're gonna go down real slow. So, right, are we gonna have 7% for a long time?
Well, we had 7% for quite some time in the past, right?
Well, we have, right? And it's interesting. I've always
It's
thought,
just that the young folks that are coming into the market today have never seen that, and, you know, their growing up years. Well, you know, and, you know, we had our growing up years.
so 18% was humbling for us
That's
growing
right,
up, right?
That's right.
It seems like young people today, their humbling number is 7.
Yeah, exactly. But
Right.
it's all relative though, right? It's what you know.
It is.
And even if you look at history, well, that was then, you know, that's not today, and this is high. Well, it is in respect to what it was, but it's not really that high.
Well, right. I mean, banks go to historical, right? But people aren't 200 years old. It's kind of like our word of the day, right? Right? Oh, that's from 1605, right?
Right.
They don't really give a hoot.
Right.
Right. It's more, it's like, what's in it for me today? Where is it today and where's it going to be tomorrow?
Right.
And housing, I think housing growth, it's hanging with us until the economy gets crushed. I think it'll continue, but folks just continue to not want to sell and take that leap of faith, whether it's get smaller, get bigger, whatever. The inventory's just down. And this week I've had lots of self-employed folks with challenges looking at wanting into the market.
Well, that's good.
It's optimistic, but it's still kind of a cluster. It's still
Yeah.
kind of forming.
Yeah. Well, we have to take a quick break here. Ed may have a little bit more for us when we come back on the other side of the break. And if so, he'll share that. So don't go away. This is What's the Story? And welcome back to What's the Story?
It's open mic Tuesday,
It's open
right?
mic
Open mic
Tuesday. When you bother to open the mic. Yeah,
Well, right,
that's true.
right. Well, when you speak truth, it's okay if they hear you, right?
It's true.
Unlike like presidents and stuff, they're like, oh, that's a hot bite,
Yeah,
right? You'd think those guys their whole life have had their tongues tied. Why would they just spew off?
I guess because you eventually just get comfortable, right? You just get to the point to where you're
Maybe
just
that's who they
comfortable.
are.
Yeah, it might be. What else you got for us on the finance side?
So the core inflation rate report comes out on Thursday. I think that's the key, watching that. There's also a fact of folks looking for homes. Folks that have been looking for homes over 3 months, 38% of them are still looking, right? They're looking for the opportunity. They're not giving up. Most of them are spreading their, right, maybe they're miles away from their target place or looking at different options. It's kind of crazy the amount of folks that are really looking to perform, right?
Right.
I mean, for those of
Well,
us,
I'm a looky-loo, right?
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
I've been looking for probably 3 or 4 years for that particular thing that would take me away from the standard world that I'm in here
right,
into something a little bit different and, a little more free, right?
right.
And yet, even before, there was just no way that, and it wasn't even about qualifying. It's about what do you want,
Right.
right? And it's hard to find what you want, even if you have the money.
Well, right. I think you've done, right. So that's the biggest issue. Once you know what you want, then you can go look for it. And then it's,
Right.
do you find it or not?
But what I find is I always want something that's more than what I can afford.
That's
Right?
almost
I mean,
everybody,
yeah,
right?
that's what I mean. And that's why I'm saying it, because that is everybody. You have a budget, you try and stay within your budget, but oh man, it's just that one extra little thing.
Right. Wouldn't credit
Oh,
bureaus tell you that everyone has a champagne taste on
Right,
a beer
on a
budget?
beer budget.
Best I know.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, to that end, in refinancing potentials, credit card debt reached $1 trillion in the United States for the first time
Wow.
this week.
Wow.
That's a lot. Well, so we've been talking, and I know we're going to go into ethics in banks, but so in high rate environments, banks are making money. They're getting returns on car loans, right? They are having to pay some people for deposits now,
Right.
but car loans, credit cards are all higher, and with that at an all-time high, except in mortgage, banks are making money.
Right.
I was kind of surprised that folks were divesting from them, or the credit downgrades, right? The credit downgrades should have happened in 2011.
I know.
They were selling junk bonds as investment grade, and now we got equity. It's still investment grade. We're not worse off in housing. We're way better in housing than we were before. It's fascinating to me. I mean, I can make any kind of declaration I want. I mean, that Moody's thing is, I don't know. I don't see their logic. Unless they go, oh, we've had like 12 years of Democratic spending, right? They did
We
say
finally
20
decided
years.
to look
So
at it.
after 12 years of Democratic deficit spending and we're about to go under, they've like flipped the switch now, right? Oh, it had to be that last
Oh,
move.
by the way.
It had to be them not coming to agreement
Right?
on debt
Yes,
spending.
it's true. It's
But
true.
anyway, it's just the biggest BS I've
It
ever
is.
seen.
It's a lot of BS.
We call that ethics.
Is that Bidenomics?
So privy is what I call that word of the day that we had was my Biden economic. It's called privy.
It's true. I think we talked about this last week or the week before. It was the judgment that came to fruition against the government, Biden basically, and his administration as far as social media is concerned.
the overreach there, or the
Yes.
controlling what they do and do
Yes.
not publish?
Yes, and it's so many departments. I don't know if everybody realizes, I pulled up the case. It was filed 7/4, so it's just a little over a month. But it's against the Department of Health and Human Services, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases.
It just
Xavier
goes to show they're
Becerra,
all dishonest.
you know, all
All of
these
them.
people, the Surgeon General,
For sure,
the
they're
Centers for
dishonest.
Disease Control and Prevention, they name individual people, Jay Dempsey, Carol Crawford, Chief of the Digital Media Branch of the CDC Division of Public Affairs. I mean, this list is at least 2 pages long. It may even be longer than that. Nope, it's 3 pages.
If you have to control the public dialogue, you're not good enough.
So then they finally get to are hereby enjoined and restrained from taking the following actions as to social media companies. And then that list goes on.
As
on
plain
and on.
as day as that is, I think we forget that the Secretary of Education is doing the exact same thing with schools that they're
Right.
doing with social media. That Buttigieg in transportation is trying to do the same thing with transportation.
Well,
It's all this big overreach on control.
and I think the thing that puzzles me in a way is that why would we have to tell our administration that they can't censor? That is the First Amendment,
Well, right.
right? I mean, they've all sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution, and yet they're having to be told meeting with social media companies for the purpose of urging, encouraging, pressuring, or inducing in any manner the removal, deletion, suppression, or reduction of content containing protected free speech posted on social media platforms.
Right.
Seriously?
They're
You've got to be told that?
They're liars, cheats, and thieves.
Yeah, specifically flagging content or posts on social media platforms and are forwarding such to, or encouraging, all the pressuring, inducing, all the words, or reduction of content containing protected free speech. There are 6 items just on this page, and it goes on to another 4 on the next page, and it's further ordered that the following actions are not prohibited by this preliminary injunction. So there were things that they told them they could do. So it was very specific what they can and cannot do. Informing social media companies of postings involving criminal activity or criminal conspiracies. Good. I'm glad they should tell them about that, right?
No, well, they should.
Yeah. Contacting or notifying social media companies of national security threats, extortion, or other threats posted on its platform. Yep, those are all good things that they should be telling them. I just think it's ironic that it has to be spelled out 10 items that all reflect on not prohibiting free speech, and then, telling them the things that they can do.
Well, we can look at, and like I said, I just talked about Department of Education, Department of Transportation. We can talk about the Department of Past Presidents. This is an overreach on President Trump. Same, right? It's that same, we want to control what you say. We want to control
Are
who
you
you
saying
are.
that he did that?
No, I'm saying they're saying, so their court is an overreach to President Trump's free speech.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Right? I'm just saying they're consistent in their overreach by department. And we can go to the border too, right? I mean, it's the same.
It is. That's
And
terrible.
it's, to me, it's like that bad marriage, right? That person, right? They're not smarter than you, they're not better than you, but yet you got to listen to their border stuff. You got to listen to their policies when they're not wise.
Well, and I don't want to be one of those shows that just points out all the problems and doesn't come up with a solution.
And that is the rub, is those
Yeah.
solutions.
The solution, part of the solution, I think, is that for one thing, when you are banned or something happens to you, that you do need to fight. You can go off the platform if that's your choice, but I wouldn't do it as a response to them banning you. I think, and I realize that so many people are making money this way and it's hard because it's your livelihood, but all the more reason to fight, all the more reason to say, hey, wait a minute, you are violating my free speech. Use this case and say, hey, you can't do that. The government is telling you to do this and you can't do it. And I'll bet if you point out that they've probably been encouraged or induced to do something
Are we,
against
are
the
we
government,
talking about
they
this?
might back away.
Are we talking about this inclusive government we have that where the president didn't even claim his own grandchild?
Oh, I
Right,
think he's
they're
going to
very
now.
not inclusive at all.
I think he's decided he's going to claim the grandchild. I think he got coerced into that.
So,
Induced, coerced, what are all those words?
well,
Use all of
right.
them. Encouraged to.
Somebody with a rosy, positive outlook like that needs to be encouraged.
What can you say?
Help me.
We're going to talk some publishing when we come back from our break that's coming up here. And a couple of things going on, some copyright stuff in Canada, and Simon and Schuster comes up in the lineup again. So we'll be right back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. welcome back. This is What's the Story. I'm Janice Hermsen here with Ed Noel. It's been a good day, Ed.
Yeah. Well, the temperature about 91, good convertible weather, the wind's blowing.
Mr. Convertible Man.
I mean, late summer, dog days of summer, Congress is on vacation.
Good place
Right?
for them
We
to
should
be.
solve
Yes.
some stuff over there.
That's right. We need to do that. But in the meantime, I guess that the Simon and Schuster deal, we covered this, a month, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4, quite a while ago. And that deal got blown. They weren't able to be purchased.
Right, there would have been one giant publisher.
Yep. Well, isn't there really one giant publisher now? I mean, yeah.
So outside of LaRue Press, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we've got the big five, and Simon and Schuster being one of them. And it looks like a company by the name of KKR.
They're a huge holding company. They
Right.
own all kinds of stuff.
Right. Including, what did I read about them? Because I looked them up to kind of do a little background research on them. And the Chinese, the Bit or Byte.
Bitcoin?
No, it's not Bitcoin. It's
Dance Byte?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, so I guess that's part of their holdings as well. So, just pay attention.
Well, I was going to say, what do you spend your money on, right? I mean,
Not
there's some
that.
folks that, well, right.
Not that.
Million Matters, what's the story?
Well, Anyway, KKR has agreed to buy Simon & Schuster for $1.62 billion. It'd be nice to be bought for $1.62 billion, don't you think?
I might even
Depends on
sell
how-
myself for that.
So, and they're talking about that it's enhanced by KKR's interest in company growth and employee equity. So what does employee equity mean in this context, right?
I've always thought it meant you work more than you're paid.
Well, and I
That's what I
wasn't really
always
sure
thought.
what they were saying.
That's what I
but
see in self-employed.
In essence, they are saying that they're going to give them equity in the company. So kind of like maybe a
Enterprise rent-a-car,
right,
right? Where they come, while the employees run the
employee
company.
owned, yeah. And that's at least that's the way it sounds. They haven't really announced what they're doing, but that's the impression they're giving, that's going to be,
What we're talking about, how everyone wants to own their own bar. Maybe
yeah.
that's their way of finding everyone wants to write their own book.
Right, maybe. It says, as I've noted before in our 99-year history, Simon & Schuster has had 7 owners. From these transformations, we have always emerged stronger, with each new challenge incorporating the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship that infused the vision of our founders and our constant commitment to excellence in publishing.
So
Sounds
I
like
bet,
a great statement.
I was going to say, I bet AI wrote that. Right? That was
I was wondering.
I bet
Did
it,
you
how
hear
much
my
you,
inflection?
I know you tried to make that sound above average, but you know what? It sounded just like word,
Word salad?
Yep. I mean, it seems like they should be better than that.
So it says, with KKR's support, we can look forward to benefiting from their experience in helping companies to grow and to new strategies and opportunities that will enhance our ability to provide authors with the best possible publications they can receive. So I'm not sure what more you can do for an author that this company, other than throw money at it. That's about all I can see, right? And throwing money at it does help. I mean, it gets you out there,
So, but
at least visibly.
So this company is like holding on, or will grow the company until they can sell it for more.
Right.
And that's their benefit, right? To me,
But all those
I mean, I
words-
get they're into their shareholders and making money, but it would seem to me their heart is not with the authors.
It doesn't feel that way. And there were some concerns before about the heart not being with the authors. And where is the benefit? And I just don't know how they're even telling you that there's any benefit. Those are a lot of positive words.
It might be
All
a pleasure
string
to do
together.
business with them.
Kamala might have done a good job with those words, don't you think?
Ooh. It does
She
kind of
does some
sound like her
good word
speech.
salad.
Don't
She
you
does-
get, you can like throw them in a bag
Oh,
and just
no, I
pull
know
out the
that.
words,
I
right?
know it now.
because you can put them in any order,
Oh, you could.
right? They're all adjectives.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find some. I've heard some folks talking about some Kamala word salad. Have you heard any word salad lately?
Best I thought, I think last time I saw Pushkin, who disappeared after the revolt there in Russia, I think I've seen him since I've seen Kamala Harris, and they thought they poisoned him.
Oh, here's something on her her wisdom about community banks. I think I heard this one. I don't know if I can play it or not. Let me see if I can. Hold on, because I don't want to just play it outright. I want to play it within so everybody can hear it besides me and you. So this is that shared screen thing that I got to get better at, right?
So you sure she said something?
She said something. I'm not sure what she said. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to.
I think we're in a dangerous.
Somehow I'm challenged with this today. So
We're in a fragile space with elderly candidates. Not only President Biden, but Mitch McConnell and Nancy's kind of fading now. But anyway, I think folks want more vibrant folks on both sides of the aisle with respect to age.
are you talking about for
So-
candidates for all offices or just?
I think candidates above age. Come on, there's just a lot of them. I mean, to me, they're out of touch. I get that they have passion, they have all this stuff. I mean, right? So, right, get me on a pet peeve while you're doing thing. Teachers, right? They're coming out with raise and pay for teachers, right? My grandfather was a principal, mom's a retired teacher, aunt's a retired teacher. Schools failed. Our kids aren't better today than they were 5 years ago. In our world and society, we pay people when they achieve. When you pay people for not achieving, it's not a good thing. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. But schools, right? I'll say in Washoe County, I moved here in '96. We were worse than the worst state in the country. There are some periodicals that have us there now 7 years later, right? Maybe we are moving a little, but they got to fix the problem. You can't keep throwing money at something that's not working, not educating kids. It's ridiculous to me.
Well, let's hear some Kamala Harris Leaves Earth for word salad on space cooperation. And I've not heard this, so
Is she part of
forgive me,
Space Force?
but let's hear what she has to say. Are you ready?
Yep.
No, I'm not hearing it.
We
You
can
know
make
why?
it up.
No, here's why. Because not only do you have to turn the mic on the one on your own, you have to turn the mic on this one. So here we go.
Particular. We will discuss the work that we will do together to strengthen our space cooperation. You and I spoke briefly about the beginning of the next era, and for you, what that means in terms of your leadership and your vision for the future. And certainly strengthening our space cooperation would be a part of that agenda, including, of course, using our space cooperation to think about how we strengthen the economic prosperity and development of our nations.
So I bet AI wrote that.
I would think so. I think that's what it sounded like.
I mean, I thought they paid speechwriters money.
You know, I've not figured out how this person, who I thought, had some intelligence, I've heard her speak prior to her being vice president, and she seemed to be able to string those words together pretty well. And all of a sudden, she can't. She can't do a thing, right? How'd that happen?
So right, like mortgage is slow. So what am I doing? I'm working. I'm doing networking stuff. As vice president, does she do anything? I mean,
I think people don't even know what a vice president does. Maybe we need to.
And I know they're ambassadors of this and that, but it seems to me like she's out of the work cycle. She's out of the free. She's
But
not
that
in the
doesn't
same
change that she
frequency.
can't think. That doesn't change that she can't think. This seems quite contrived to me. That's just my opinion.
So you think
That's my little
you think
conspiracy
the
hat going on
the
again.
Biden like chat bots are cutting her off?
I don't know, but I just think that she wouldn't say that if she had a choice.
I mean, who's
That's
he
what I-
looking for? He's got it. I don't know. Is he looking for a new VP candidate?
Don't know. He's not exactly the wordsmith himself. Come on, right? This is a person that half the time you don't know what he's saying. I mean, you listen to the same kinds of shows I do, and they're always playing little clips. I've avoided it. Now that I have this option, oh my Lord, I think I'm in trouble. I'm going to be playing everything I can find.
Yeah, I got no answer
You've created
or
a
no
monster
no question because her husband, is out and active with her too. I don't know that much about him, but anyway, they've been there 4 years, and that's the last thing that President Biden put on her was the border. I thought
Right, but she didn't do anything.
she hasn't worked in
No,
one.
she
She
hasn't
hasn't
done
even been there.
No, not at all.
So it seems to me like the vice president's like this special worker that you can put to work and achieve stuff. I mean, it seems like President Trump used President or Vice President Pence quite a bit.
Seems that way. All right, on that note, we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back with our book blitz. Yes, don't
What?
go away. This is going to be a good one. am Janice Hermsen. I'm your host, and I'm with Ed Noel, and this is our book blitz.
Book
And
blitz,
we
book
missed
blitz.
Doug, because Doug was like the least blitzer of us all.
Well, and he's like a walking thesaurus,
He really is.
right? So that's, I mean, you don't get that.
No, and I'm not that. So
I'm not really either.
no, but we love our books, and so we do this anyway, and enjoy every minute of it.
That's right, as my son Fox says, not all movies were books first. I said 99.9% of them were.
Oh, is he trying to convince you?
So he's denigrating the print.
Oh,
That's
I
what
see.
I think. He doesn't see that the spark of the idea for that
Gotcha.
show was paper.
Right. Yeah, and I can understand that. He'll grow out of it.
Well, I got wiser as I got older. Hopefully he will.
He'll grow out of it. It's okay.
Yeah. One thing I know for sure, he's not listening.
Oh,
Right?
that's
He loves
funny.
me. He's like, your job. No way. Hey, so on the book blitz, right? And everyone knows I do mortgage. We try not to dwell on it too much, but I do have the pocket mortgage guide. I am finding that folks have the most interesting questions about where they want to go, where they want to be, right? They're positioning their families like smart folks. The pocket mortgage guide answers questions. Right, amortization, you can pay extra. It answers all. You can do the same thing by calling me at 775-721-4100. I'll answer your questions, right? Mortgage folks get paid when loans close. Realtors get paid when loans close. Use us for our knowledge before we get paid.
Absolutely.
But the pocket mortgage guys, learn what you can and call me.
There you go. All right, so that's the Pocket Mortgage Guide by Guten Tag on that one.
Wharton School doctors, right? I still have to go with the letters.
All right, and my book for today is From the Sea Come Seashells, and that's
Oh, nice.
by Larry Hobson. And I will tell you, I had his book sitting on the counter right before
I
left.
touched it yesterday.
And it's not published yet. It is going to be published on Saturday, which is the 12th. That's when it will be released. It's all ready to go.
Was that the
bound
prototype?
It was bound. It's bound. It's the pre.
Pre-prototype?
That's right.
Well, it's good looking.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's a good book, and Ed helped with that.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun
Yeah.
to contribute to
Yeah.
somebody's art.
That's right. That's right. So that will be released on Saturday, and you'll see it online. There will be a Kindle version available probably the day before, maybe even tomorrow. I'm not sure. But it is a very interesting story. And again, not everybody's going to like everything, but this particular book, as I related it, it was like, oh, this is very predictable. This is, I've read this, I know what's going to happen next. And wow. And then all of a sudden, there was the kicker. And it really surprised me. And so I'm not going to do a spoiler.
Are we going to have an author signing event?
No, I don't know. He didn't want to come up to Reno, I think.
Oh, really?
That's a
He's
little
like a shy
Oh, yeah. He's
recluse.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. He's down in Southern Cal. So, but I'm hoping, I'm encouraging him to do some book signings down there, and hopefully he will. And who knows? Maybe it'll become a movie down the road. You never can tell, right?
It's amazing where stories go, right? I mean,
So
watch the story.
From the Sea Come Seashells. We did publish that, and it's by Larry Hobson. So check it out. It's not his first book. It is his second, but I'm sure this is the better of the two.
I hadn't read the other one.
I know, I didn't either. So that's why I know this has got to be the better.
Oh,
of
give
the
me
two.
something to do.
That's right. And since we don't have Doug, I came prepared to share with you another book that's going to be coming out. So you're not going to find these online. This is not yet. It's upcoming. It's called Stalinland, and it's by John the Ranger. And it is a dystopian novel. and set in Russia. And eventually, though, as you read through, it moves and goes to other countries. So very interesting. And John's been working on this for a very, very long time.
It's got some cool font.
It does.
You can see my work involves that, right? It's got some really killer font.
That's right. So if you're into font,
Awesome,
this out.
awesome spacing.
he didn't read it obviously, but yes, it's a very good book. That one I have also read. And published by LaRue Press. And one more that we have, and I'm going to actually read the author's description of this book. I want to give you a little history. He does have MS and multiple sclerosis. He's a veteran, and he's had multiple sclerosis for a while now. Has a son, and this book is intended for his son because let me just read for you. From growing up in West Texas to joining the Army after high school to eventually finding a home in Reno, this book is about fighting. As a child, I fought to belong and know my place. In the Army, I fought to be the best soldier I could be. After the Army, I fought to gain my sanity. I fought to find myself. I fought to find someone for me. After getting married, I fought for my family. After Liam's birth, Liam is his son, I fought to be the best dad I could be. I fought to always be by his side. After I was diagnosed, I fought to get my son to young adulthood so that he could be equipped with the tools, the lessons, to be the man that he is destined to be. Now there is not a single day that I don't have to fight. This book is about that journey. I think it's a great description. He does it well. It's not too long. It's not doom and gloom. It's a positive message intended to be out there to tell people you don't have to have multiple sclerosis to understand it. Being a father of a child, I'm sure that you can probably relate to some of it, even if,
So we've all, had that moment where you have a child of X age, under 2 or 3, who's gone wild in the store or run into the wrapping paper to hide.
Oh, yeah.
Those traumatic events that the first time they happen, you feel like you're just naked to the world, and you are, but you learn to live with it and kind of grow and get through the adversity.
Right. Well, and having been married to someone who had multiple sclerosis, I can relate to the journey of the change in the disease, along with having a child involved, would be very difficult. And for a man, I presume, not being a man, of course I could identify as well.
We'll just call you they, we, or
but
them.
not being a man, I don't know how it feels to, or what those desires are for you, for your son, right? As a woman, I know what I want my daughters to have learned from me or to gain from having me as a mom. Dads are different.
So for me, there's that, it would seem there's that, so I'm an older parent, right? So there's like that time where you can't show them anymore. You have to tell them. Right. You're not good enough. Right. Whatever that space is, and there's a sadness. And if you're young and healthy and stuff, it's, you feel like there's something you're not doing for them, right? I mean, to me, it's all about them. And if you let them down, you're letting everyone down. And anyway, that whole thing, it's a weight. And I'm excited to work on this.
Yep, that's going to be a good one. These both will be coming out within the next couple of months. We just got them in the process, so it's going to be a little bit, but I did want to mention them because they are upcoming books coming from LaRue Press, and I think that you're going to really like them, and I'm hoping that they'll be ready for inclusion for the Christmas time.
Right, no matter the times, people have great ideas and great stories.
It's true.
And there's writing them down and putting them on paper.
Yeah, but some of these are going to be great gift ideas. And next week, I want to remind everybody that we are going to have J.J. Carroll He's the author of Invaded, The Intentional Destruction of the American Immigration System. And looking forward to that interview with him. I think it's going to be great. And I hope you folks will be able to join us. Right?
Yeah.
That would be great.
No, I'm excited by that. That's hard hitting, like, front page news.
It is. And now I think we have to check out because I think it's time for us to go for the week.
What?
But we enjoyed being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. And we'll do it again next week with JJ Carroll. All right, this is What's the Story.
Wow.
That was good.
What about the